Guys, welcome back to the farm. Hey, 4240 John Deere, my 4430 started rolling coal, blowing smoke. You saw that. I'll get to that in a minute. I wanted to touch on the mixer. You ever heard when a woman gets married and they put on Facebook, she said yes to the dress? Well, I said yes to the mixer. I got a long story, but I'm going to try to make it short as possible. Took the silo out, second silo, so I could drive in and do a direct dump feeding. Guys weren't lining up to do that kind of work, and I'm getting a lot of messages wanting to know who did that. So the guy that did it was my silo man, Daryl. The deal was, he deals in Velmetal. Order a mixer from him, and he'll take that silo down. Well, he did just that. Well, with, I don't know if some of the tariffs had something to do with it, because most of these mixers are made in Canada. Canadians make the best mixers. Most people know that. I'm learning it. Well, after I ordered that, and I assembled, met with him, that was Christmas time. So I knew this time of year was going to come very quickly. And I'm glad I did. He said it should be there April 1st. It was still a 3-month build on it. Well, then the tariffs and the talks and everything kind of got a little funky. In the meantime, I met Scott from Waste Equipment, and he said, would you like to demo this Penta? I follow you on Facebook. If you guys don't know, we're on Facebook, Sigler Dairy Farm Facebook, Instagram, Kip Sigler Farming, YouTube, and some other platforms. But he said, I follow you. I wouldn't mind you showing the viewers what the Penta can do. That's about the size you need from what I heard you saying. So I brought this down. You guys know that. A lot of you guys said the Pentas were #1, top of the line. Well, I got using it, and I told you, I loved this mixer, the way it worked, the whole deal. And everybody and their brother was like, well, why don't you buy it? And then I didn't want to let you in on it yet, that I already had one ordered. Long story short, the silo came down fairly quick. I was still using this. Scott says, Kip, I want to demo that mixer to a old buddy of mine over in Emmett area, Jim Reed. He wants it. So I cleaned it up. You've seen it 2 videos back. Swept it all out, power washed it. Called Daryl. Daryl, I need that mixer. He talked to the Canadians. They said it's going to be June 1st. So what he did was he let me out of it. He said, I told him June 1st is too late. You guys are late on it. He said, if you want the Penta, take the Penta. So immediately I call Scott, and I'm like, Scott, he says, I'm coming tomorrow to get the mixer. I says, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on the mixer. I might want it. Well, you might want it. I got to take it to Jim Reed's. And I said, what do you got to have for it? I do want it. And I told him the story, and he said, yeah, I'll sell it to you. I want to demo it to Jim, then I'll sell it to you. And I said, Scott, my brothers aren't going to like that. If we pay for that, they're not going to want to leave the farm. So he said, okay. I hooked back up to it the next day, put the Lucknow away. That's going to be our backup, our spare. Ended up with the Penta, brand new. It was a little more than a Velmetal. Maybe you guys leave a comment down below. Which is better, a Velmetal or a Penta? I wanted it because when I said I liked it and how smooth that PTO was and everything, I knew I was going to kick myself in the butt if that Velmetal got here and it didn't add up and compare as well as that one. I was going to think, oh, dang. So I guess we'll never know. I ended up with that, and the other one's still getting built. Here's how I'm feeding right now. I wanted to fill you in. I'm at the end of this bag. I've got on my calendar, these bags are lasting me 2 months. If you look, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 more. That's 8 months. It looks, if everything stays the same, which looks like it probably will, that's going to be a 2-month carryover on corn silage. So we put up enough corn silage. The ag bag pad, first year, laid this down last July. It hasn't even been a year. Holding up extremely well. This is on a tiled lot. That's why that is. I forgot I got to get to this tractor, but I wasn't sure if we put up enough haylage. First time ever laying bags down. We filled 2 silos, and we were always a little short on hay, always. Well, I knew I was going to be, I knew we chopped more than we ever chopped in the past. Well, I'm down to this is a second cutting bag. This is a little bit of a dryer, but man, good stuff. third cutting bag. I was feeding oats. I ran out of the oats and it turned into second cutting. Here's a very, very packed third cutting. I mean, that stuff was very wet. And I asked my brother about it. He says, yeah, because we had to chop it off before it rained. But I had my nutritionist out here, a month ago. He wanted to check, make sure I had enough feed. He wrote on the bag April 20th. That would have probably been up here. Well, I think it's May 1st or something, after May. Early May. I was right on that line. And he's got it marked down here too, May 20th. It's just so I have a reference of when that, there it was. You can't see that real. May 20th. And then this will be enough, because he wants my haylage when I chop it to sit, I think he said 6 weeks. And this stuff got so wet and dense feeding. Like I say, you can't put hay up like that in a silo. That's another major plus of these bags, putting it on the ground. Extremely moist feed. So I'm gonna have more than enough hay. The hay we start chopping is gonna be able to sit and ferment. And take a look at the pad. I did add a load of gravel. I had a swale right there. Had to level it up. I might have to do that after each bag. That's 300 bucks a load. But I filled in some odds and end holes here and there. And I tell you, I'm no professional. First time, learning as I go. This pad, I blade this once a week. I mean, I baby this. I'm manicuring this thing like it's like you're doing maintenance in a silo. If there's something on that wall, you're chipping it off. Like, if you think these bags are easier than a silo, I tell people, because they ask me now, they reach out, you're dreaming. This is no cakewalk. There's no easy way to do this, to feed dairy cattle and run the farm. It's just pick your poison. I will say this, there's no easy way to do it, but this is probably by far it's safer than them anyway. Now, what's different about how I'm feeding the grain is walking back to get my loader. I took the Kelly conveyors out. I started disassembling. I think I'm gonna try to sell them. As I come back, and I'm gonna start loading hay in a second, I turn that grain on. Now, this isn't my finished product. I've got to pour an apron over there where I drive into the barn. And I'm gonna pour something here and set some blocks up. But at the time being, I needed to get that grain fed. So what I do is I'll turn it on, let her down, and just let her pile up. By the time I put my haylage in, and that's new, I'm putting the haylage in first, then the grain, then my corn silage. I think it just seems to mix better. I don't know why I was doing corn silage first, but like I said, I'm still learning every day, little by little. Okay, hay's in, about 3,500 pounds. I'm gonna turn this on so when we get back with the grain, it'll start mixing. Tell you about this tractor once we get her filled, but new engine, years back, only 4,000 hours on that. I'll turn this scale this way because that's where we'll be loading on that side. That's a nice looking mixer. Shut this silo and loader off. away we go. Alrighty, and there's your mix. Calling for about 8,400 pounds. That's about 3,600 of that hay. Half and half, second and third. 3,600 of your corn silage, very moist, excellent. And about 800 pounds of that high moisture corn. It's pretty dry, but this is the first I've been putting, knowing what it calls for, the 800, and putting it in the ration. So I know a lot of you guys commented and said you need to put that in there, you're gonna see a difference. I'll keep you updated if they go up on milk, but that's how I'm doing it. It's about one big bucket like that, 800 pounds. So we'll see how the cows do. Still learning, still tweaking things, but I'm gonna shut this mixer off. I'm gonna go over what happened to my 4430 and why I have the 4240 backup tractor hooked up. This is for morning. I'm already fed. I'll walk you through the bunks and show you the way it laid in there. Also want to give you an update on some of the tillage equipment we just got out. We're gonna be rolling very soon. Got some rain coming tomorrow, but after that we're probably gonna be hitting the ground running. Also want to give you an update on some of the technology we're putting on the John Deere tractors. I'll probably do a separate video on that. I'm gonna take you along this year and show you how some of that precision ag works with John Deere. Auto steer and auto turn automation, but we'll get into that in a whole separate issue. But let's put her in the barn, boys. So about the tractor mixing feed, 2 days ago, the 4430 started rolling coal, wouldn't throttle up. Had the mechanic look at it, pulled off the side. It's the injection pump. She's just smoking, and so I had this. I've used this on a mixer before, and I was keeping this for the backup. I was gonna put this canopy on it and make it for raking hay. One of them things when something bad happens, sometimes it ends up working out for you. Well, I do like this. I've never had it on the Penta. Like I said, the Penta's PTO, it don't take a whole ton of power as much as you'd think. Not like that Lucknow. That Lucknow is a little wore out. So this handles better, turns better. I think that was a blessing in disguise. I'm gonna keep this on there more than likely. Again, no roof, no cab, but easy on, easy off, handles it perfectly. The only thing I think we're gonna have to do is we've got some dry crack, and they're fairly bald. I might put new tires on the old girl, especially going in if we go through this summer, if it stays dry. But winter, you're gonna want some tread. Walking over this tillage equipment, I want to apologize. I've been a little late on some of these videos. Had a lot going on. Little John's sleeping decent. But my oldest daughter's in softball. My second oldest daughter, she would be 10. She's in soccer up in North Branch. So we're busy with that. And the baby. We've got the baby trying to sleep train him. This is my heifer bag. So this is a little drier corn silage, but getting to the end of that, and you can see this field starting to really dry out. Tiled, disced it. Most of our manure ground's been disced. Mark's disced it with the John Deere and the 32-foot 1-inch disc. We're good there, but we're waiting on a window probably next week. This is our 48-foot cultipacker, 48-foot cultivator, ready to be hooked up to the 9560R. Had a flat tire on the inside, so we took it off. We're getting that fixed, but this is all got to be checked over. We pulled it out of the barn with the new 7720 that's going to go on our disc spine. I'm going to put this, a big frame tractor, I'm going to put that on the disc spine for cutting hay. It comes equipped with the buddy seat, so you're going to see Grant and I in there cutting hay. It's not auto steer ready. This is where I said I'm going to tell you, show you some of this technology we're doing. I think I'm going to put the ATU steering wheel on this. That will then, I think it's got a harness. I think this comes, the harness is built in. Yeah, there's a plug right there. So then we'll put the Starfire 7000 on it, and Grant and I will be able to cut hay using the auto steer. I can't wait to start using this. That'll be in another month, but right now we're just using it to get equipment out here and there. Had the hoof trimmer here a few days ago. I've got him coming about every 6 weeks, and the vet, I had him going. I've got them coming every month now. Finally got this management down where you have to get about 23 is what I do every month, because you got your problem cows that get added on to it, and that way you just know what these cows are doing with the price of beef right now. Beef, I tell people, and I'll tell you farmers know this. Beef is the top industry right now in agriculture. Unless you guys are, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm concerned, so cull cows for us, which is a cow that's either can't get pregnant and she's at the end of her road, you ship her and you'll get her ground up from someone will buy it for burger. And then calf prices are at all-time high. So if you got a cow out there not producing your milk, you gotta make sure you get her shipped off as soon as you can, because you're here to produce milk, and that's the bottom line. Let's head in this barn. And we're in, and the cows you're seeing right now have already been milked. This is what it looks like when I lay it up in there. Belt feeders aren't being used. Now I'm gonna do a separate video of me driving in here and really showing you how I do this. But everything I thought it would be is pretty much what it was, and it works. It's just more efficient. Look at her. And it just lays it in, fluffs it right in. Man, that's so cool and so moist. So I come down, turn around, and go out the back. That's what it looks like. More light, a lot of wind. That project's still not buttoned up. It needs to be framed in for a roll-up door. I need that pour and approach. I'll show you more of that when I do the feeding video. This video, I just want to show you how I'm feeding, because it changes what's in them bags. And also, I said yes to the mixer and the 4430. She's temporarily down, but it's one of them blessing in disguises that smaller tractor just seems to work better. Because I turn here, I do about a 2-point turn, boom, I turn, lay it right back down, and lay it in there. So on that note, guys, I hope you liked the video. I know I was trying to rush through it, but I've got to head up at North Branch. So my oldest daughter, Catherine's playing softball. So the wife and I are taking the little baby up there, and we're gonna support Catherine Sigler. She's really putting the time in, starting to pitch, and I gotta get a mitt. I couldn't find my mitt. I'm left-handed. I need a right-handed glove, if anybody knows has got one. If you guys live around here, watch this big girl. You live around here, drop me off a right-handed glove so I can play catch. Right now I'm bare fisting it. Take care, see you in the next video. God bless.